Showtime. Yo, I'm feeling like Ace and Paid in Full when Mitch went to prison. All alone in the game.
Food for thoughts and
We are now introducing Christopher K.P. Brown. Introduce yourself, Mr. Brown.
Christopher K.P. Brown, from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, representing 2 Pens and Lint.
Alright, let's start with your album, Poetry, a hip-hop album. What does it mean?
Well, you look at 2 Pens and Lint, the motto for 2 Pens and Lint is a new direction in poetry. And so that's what I'm doing with this CD. I really love hip-hop, but at the same time I really love poetry. Like, I grew up in the hip-hop culture, growing up in the hip-hop culture still. But I want to make my impact through poetry. And so to take everything that's honest for me in this album, like you get me on this album, like everything that's like Christopher K.P. Brown. And so half of that is hip-hop, half of that is poetry, and that's what you get. But I'm not rapping on it. It's walking the thin line between like what you would normally hear on the poetry CD, which is a lot of poets, they'll do their poem over the track and almost ignore the beat. But like my CD, I was definitely paying attention to the beat and like wanted my poems to actually go along with the beat and be a part of that, not just on top of it, just be a part of it, but to be a part of the beat like it is in hip hop. So that's the influence. So you got poetry, hip hop influence, and you'll see a lot of hip hop influence on the album. You know, but at the same time, you know it's poetry.
that made me rock hard. Sometimes my faith be kinda low. Sometimes I wanna knock God, but my folks taught me better. Never aim for the cheddar, but I do chase bread so my folks can eat forever. Ain't it clever? How the poorest people never aim for wealth. How the most expensive meats be the worst for your health. How we claim failure in hoods, but only talk about self. When we talk about success, we be talking about cars. It's hard to stay grounded when you look up to the stars. I'm looking up.
What is 2 Pens and Lint? I mean, where did that all stem from? Where did it come from?
I was writing, like everything like comes from writing. Right when I was probably 17 or 18, and had a line in the poem, and it was like, the contents of my pocket are 2 Pens and Lint. And I liked it. Like I went back, like my favorite poems are ones I go back and read maybe months later and be like, oh, that's a nice line or something like that. Like like I never wrote this something. But so 2 Pens and Lint was in that line. And my freshman year in college, 2003, 2002, 2003, did a Primary Concern, my first CD, and we did the 2 Pens and Lint website after that summer, because that was the only way. I had moved away from Arkansas. Born and raised in Arkansas, had always been selling books and everything there, but when I came to that school in Georgia, it was like a new fan base, and I had to get CD out to people in Georgia and also in Arkansas, but not able to travel. So we set up the website. It's called 2 Pens and Lint. And because like no matter where I go in poetry, like that's all I need. And like this 2 pens thing came from right one day, ink runs out of the pen, look for another pen. So since then, and like I couldn't finish the poem, so just angry all day. So since then, I always carry 2 pens in my pocket. So 2 Pens and Lint is all I really need to like do what I want to do. That's poetry.
That's what's up. And the website is
2pensandlint.com. So it's spelled all the way out. TWOPENSANDLINT. 2pensandlint.com. A new direction in poetry.
That's what's up.
It's me being on the campus. I can learn a lot from the people that I'm surrounded with. They can learn a lot from me.
Yeah, so back in the day, a damn good day for me was not having to go to practice. Could be home by 3. My point is, my main concern was just to practice. My mama, baby, if you want it, then I got it. Just ask us. Work ain't no damn point.
Alright, so in your Poetry, a hip-hop album, you have a song, Wealth Part 2, featuring yourself, B.Ware, Chauncey, and Naya.
Yeah.
Where did the idea of this whole collaboration, this whole, ingenious come from?
It's family, man. Like they had to be on the CD, and like everybody's on that one track. But to me, everybody's on the whole CD. I could go listen to the CD and be like, oh, that's Brandon, or something like, or Chauncey told me to do that, But West Part 2 was like, first of all, it was something I don't think it's done. I haven't seen in poetry. Whereas it's a poetry CD, obviously, but like you look at West Part 2 and be like, that's a hip hop song, because everybody else is rapping besides me. I'm first verse and it's poetry, but everything else is rap and like it's good. So it's poetry and it's hip hop and it's a good song. And you won't see that. I don't think if you see that on poetry CD, you know what I'm saying, let me know. Not like, you don't have no big head, I'm like, this is my goal to do something new in poetry. So I'm like just pointing out the goals and like everything working towards. But Wealth Part 2, concept, concept is something I believe in every day, something that I keep with me every day. And the whole concept of Wealth Part 2 is that wealth starts with we. So on Wealth Part 1, which is track before that, you get me just being broke. Like the whole poem, like, man, broke, struggling. But what gets me out of that struggle is everybody around me, people I can turn to. And so money-wise, financial-wise, I don't have no worries because it's we. It's everybody. It depends on everybody else, right? And also, that's how you work out of it. If you want wealth, you should never try to gain wealth or work 9 to 5 every day just so you can buy stuff for yourself, so you can buy a new car or something like that. But because like you're not even gonna be happy at the end of the day, honestly. But if you're doing it for your community and everything, you're doing it for everybody around you, then that's where true happiness comes in. Because first of all, nobody's trying to steal from you. You know what I'm saying? Because they have what you have. You know what I'm saying? Because if they got something, you got something. But you got to teach your people how to work too. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just like have them depend on you. Teach a man how to fish. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. And so that's the whole Wealth Part 2. Wealth starts with we. Concept comes from, and we live by that every day. We work together. I just did the intro for Brandon's show and everything. Like that's how we work.
Ridiculously high.
Open doors for jobs, no more breaking their cars with crowbars, so I go hard. The pill I choke down is righteous. Chill with the mic check, so while I write checks, pass them around and build brother to brother, cousin to mother, friend to friend. W.E. where it begins.
But okay, so let me ask you this: what is your favorite song or favorite track on your album? Favorite poem?
Forever. I wouldn't do the CD if Forever wasn't on there. That's I wrote it 2 years ago, and that's like to me, what the CD does. It works 2 ways. It has hip hop influence, but it has poetry. So at the end of the day, I want people to say he's a good poet. Spoken word, everything. This is spoken word. Like I can write poetry in a book, and like that's coming later. You know what I'm saying? But like this is a spoken word album, and like so that Forever is no music. It's just me raw doing my poem, doing poetry, and that's what I love, man. Like nothing else to it. Forever.
Again, try to get high, then try to rest up for Monday morning while fearing eternal sleep. We be afraid of death, but anxious to bring life into this world, knowing that the good die young. The good die young, so we commit sins trying to live forever. The good die young, so we commit sins trying to live forever. Trying to be gods, thinking that we are gods simply because we sacrifice our sons. Sending teenagers to fight in a war that none of us understand. 11,000 troops into Afghanistan. Over 3,000 soldiers killed for Iraqi freedom. Over 4,000 soldiers killed for Iraqi freedom, and the death toll continues to rise. 88 soldiers killed in June of last year alone. 88 soldiers killed in June of last year alone. That's almost 3 a day. That's 3 a day. That's William G. Taylor of Macon, Georgia, killed at the age of 26. That's Jason D. Nathan of Macon, Georgia, killed at the age of 22. That's Marcus Futrell of Macon, Georgia, killed at the age of 20. That's pop, 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 pop.
So how did you get into spoken word, poetry, hip hop?
And like the hip hop, I try to stay away from it, honestly, man. Honestly, because like my man does hip hop, like that's like hip hop. Like I'm poetry, like you know what I'm saying.
Right.
And like B.Ware is like hip hop, and I'm influenced by it. I'm influenced by hip hop, definitely. You know what I'm saying. So I understand it, but spoken word came later. I got into poetry when I was 14. I did well before that, a few months before that, I did an essay contest, Martin Luther King Jr. essay contest. And won that. That was my first essay contest. Won $50, and I was like 13, 14. And after that, my teacher was like, you know, I just want some money. Like $50 a lot of money at that time. At that age, still a lot of money now, actually. But after that, I did a poetry contest for my teacher. She told me English poetry contest, and I'd never written poetry. And I ended up writing this poem called "Teenager Not Danger." And like the feeling like I just had from writing it, man, it was crazy. I don't know that. I was quiet as a teenager. Well, all the way up to the teenage years. Quiet up to when I started writing poetry. And like writing, I was like realized that I had so much to say. Like all the stuff I had to say. And so that's how I got into poetry. Like that's my first poem, Run.